Imagine a world where every word is recorded, every move watched, and even your thoughts are not safe. Welcome to Oceania. Welcome to the story of Winston Smith, a quiet man who dared to remember and dared to resist. George Orwell's 1984 is more than just a novel. It is a powerful warning about the dangers of totalitarianism, surveillance, and manipulation of truth. Set in the bleak and oppressive future, the novel follows one man's attempt to hold on to his individuality, love, and sense of reality in a world that seeks to erase all of it. This is the story of Winston Smith, a quiet rebel living in a society where even thinking the wrong thing is a crime. The story begins in a cold, colorless vision of London, now part of superstate called Oceania. This is not the London we know. Here, the people are constantly watched by the government through devices called telescreens, and posters everywhere declare, "Big Brother is watching." In Oceania, freedom no longer exists. The ruling party, led by the mysterious figure, quote-unquote Big Brother, controls every part of life from what people say and do to what they believe and remember. The party has even invented a new language called Newspeak, designed to eliminate rebellious thoughts by removing words like freedom or justice. In this world of fear and lies lives Winston Smith, a thin, quiet man in his late 30s. He works at the Ministry of Truth, where his job is to change past records so that everything the party says appears correct, even if it lies. If the party said they were always at war with Ostasia, Winston edits old newspaper to make it look true, even if it's a complete lie. But Winston knows the truth. He remembers things differently. He knows that the party changes facts and the people have simply forgotten what life was once like. Inside, Winston begins to rebel, not by shooting or protesting or shouting, but by doing something much more dangerous. He starts writing in a diary, just writing down things like, "Down with Big Brother" is a serious crime called thought crime, punishable by death. One day, something unexpected happens. A young woman named Julia, whom Winston once thought might be spying on him, secretly passes him a note. It says just 3 words. I quote, "I love you." From that moment on, everything changes. Winston and Julia begin a secret relationship. They meet in hidden places, in forests, abandoned churches, and eventually in a small room above an old antique shop. In that room, without telescreens, they feel free. They talk, laugh, make love, and dream of a world without the party. Their love becomes an act of rebellion, and for the first time, Winston feels hope. Winston begins to believe there might be others like him, a secret group fighting the party called the Brotherhood, led by the party's greatest enemy, Emmanuel Goldstein. When O'Brien, a powerful member of the inner party, hints that he might be part of the resistance, Winston trusts him. O'Brien invites Winston and Julia to his home, where he gives them a banned book, supposedly written by Goldstein himself. The book explains how the party stays in power by keeping the people poor, constantly at war, and under complete control. War is just not to win or lose, but to maintain fear and obedience. But Winston and Julia have been fooled. Winston and Julia are arrested. Their secret room was never safe. The antique shop owner was a spy, and O'Brien was never a rebel. He was part of the thought police all along. The trap had closed. Winston is taken to the Ministry of Love, where he is tortured for months. O'Brien leads the process himself. He tells Winston that the party's goal is not to control people's action, but over their mind. The party does not want obedience alone. No, it wants people to believe lies. If the party says 2 + 2 is 5, then you must believe it. Winston tries to hold on his love for Julia and his belief in truth, but the torture gets worse. Eventually, he is taken to room 101, the most feared place in the ministry. It contains a person's worst nightmare. For Winston, that nightmare is rats. O'Brien straps a cage of starving rats to Winston's face. Just before they attack, Winston breaks. He screams, "Do it to Julia, not me." With that, Patty wins. Winston has betrayed one person he loved. His spirit is broken. He is no longer a threat. Winston is released back into society. He is no longer watched because he no longer matters. He sits at a cafe, drinks the party's cheap victory gin, and watches news of a fake military victory. When he sees Big Brother's face, he no longer feels anger or fear. He feels love. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. And so the story ends, not with a revolution, but with a man who once hoped, now completely defeated, not dead, but empty. George Orwell's 1984 is more than just a story of Winston Smith. It is a warning about what can happen when power goes unchecked, when governments lie, when language is controlled, and when people give up their right to think freely. It asks hard questions like, what is truth if those in power can change it? What is love in a world ruled by fear? What happens when we stop questioning authority? In 1984, Orwell shows a future where the worst has already happened and where freedom has been forgotten. But by reading it, we remember it. Thank you so much. Welcome to Top Read Review. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Bye-bye.